Welcome to the Minor Speech Competition 2024, an event that celebrates the spirit of entrepreneurship and innovation here at UTEP. I'm delighted to be your host today as we witness the culmination of weeks of hard work, creativity, and determination from our talent participants and our staff organizing this event. The Mike Loya Center for Innovation and Commerce stands as a supporter of our student, faculty, and staff, fostering innovation and entrepreneurship at every turn. Our mission is to support UTEP's community in entrepreneurship education, venture creation and promotion, and contribute to the building of a private entrepreneurship ecosystem in our region. For this speech competition, we have received an incredible 37 applications, showcasing the depth and talent of our university. From these, 10 outstanding teams have been selected to pitch their ideas here today. Before we embark on this journey, let us pause to honor the extraordinary dedication of our participants. Together, they embody the spirit of relentlessly pursuit of passion for transforming ideas into reality. So let's unite and give our students a round of applause as a tribute to the commitment and perseverance. Thank you so much. The students presenting today are not merely showcasing their ideas. They're fueled by profound desire to shape the future, challenge the status quo, and leave a mark in our community. Each page echoes ambition, innovation, and shared vision of creating meaningful change. Student founders, we are so proud of you. Thank you for being here today. Our students presenting today have attended training sessions covering ideation, lean canvas, market research, financials, and pitch creation. Thank you to our graduate research students at the Mike Loya Center for Innovation and Commerce for facilitating these workshops. Moreover, our students' founders have been guided by dedicated mentors who have generously volunteered their time and expertise. To our mentors, I extend a heartfelt thank you for your invaluable contributions. Thank you so much to Cesar Venegas, Humberto Lopez, Jose Flores, Victor Fernandez, Stephanie Schilling, Tony Banning, and Patti Delgado. They have been guiding our students during this competition. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our esteemed panel of judges who will have the challenging task of evaluating today's pitch. Judges, please stand as I introduce you to our audience. Welcome Alejandro Muñoz Mendieta, CEO and Managing Partner at No Water Ventures. Dr. Jessica Urbina, CEO of Infinite Elements. Máximo Gámez, Venture Analyst at Audaz Capital. Flor Lynch, Business Owner at Flor Insurance and Real Estate Owner. Thank you for your generosity, leading your expertise and time to support our next generation of entrepreneurs. Before we proceed, I must express my sincere gratitude to our incredible team at the Mike Loya Center for Innovation and Commerce. From the check-in to making sure that everything runs smoothly, I would like to give them a round of applause because without them, we will not be able to do this. So thank you to our students in the back, in the front, and at the check-in for making this happen. Okay, now we're just getting ready to hear our first pitch. So just as a reminder for the format of today's competition, each team is going to have 5 minutes to pitch their idea. Following each pitch, our esteemed judges will have 5 minutes to provide feedback and ask any questions. Alfredo will be our timekeeper, and he will be providing us with a time-minute warning for each presenter and to our panel of judges. Alfredo's right in the back. Without further ado, let's kick off our pitch competition, and please join me in welcoming our first presenter, Antonio Avila, to the stage.
Hello. Hello, my name is Antonio Avila. Good morning to everybody here for attending. So I'm going to present to you Opti EV Fleet, an optimal commercial EV charging management system for commercial EV fleets. So we all know that today's problem, that inflation is rising up through the roofs due to increasing fuel costs for our transportational needs, as well as fuel costs for transportation logistic owners having to combat rising diesel prices, and also the strict emission standards that are implemented in today's state's legislators, that they're trying to remove diesel trucks or try to do emission standards to them. So basically, Opti EV Fleet is a solution to that, to transportation logistics owners of any kinds of sorts. So basically, a commercial business owner has to look forward into the future in order to transition to their business into the EV sector. So they don't really know how to manage this. They don't have no idea to do this. So they look at this kind of like a confusion, waiting for an answer to do that transition. So Opti EV Fleet does that. Basically gives them the tool to oversee all their commercial EV fleets, also to optimize their charging station infrastructure for their own business, while also being an eye to watch all the EV fleets while also abiding to their scheduling times. But also, Opti EV Fleet also abides to the Federal Motor Safety Administration regulations. Also, it's a load-shedding solution for power system operators, which is El Paso Electric, where they're trying to find solutions to optimize EV charging within El Paso or any region of the United States. Basically, the competitors here, there's a lack of competitors here. The only ones are here is Tesla, and Tesla is more abiding to household infrastructure. They're not really hands into the commercial sector yet, but this is what Opti EV Fleet has the advantage to, because this algorithm model has been published and also has been working and also been remodeled and studied through many, many years throughout my research grad. So the market opportunity. So what kind of market opportunity is there in this aspect? Well, this is a transportation market. This is a $2 trillion market, and it's growing every year by 2.9%. So this is a really big market here in the US, especially through Mexico and Canada, through the borders, and everywhere else. Other than that, the projected EV growth, as you can see that from all the commercials from vehicle manufacturers and all that, they're just going into the EV route so now and then. So how does the business model work exactly? So basically, this can be a one-time payment where we can go here and abide them and also kind of consult them now to build their infrastructure and what kind of system do they need to operate their business with these commercial EV fleets. But also we can do a subscription model for them, for the EV users, or also the commercial businesses owners, in order to see their all commercial EV fleets into one operating system. These prices are not officially determined yet. They'll be determined later on. But these are the prices that a lot of commercial business owners, if you don't know the transportation field, would buy and also subscribe into load board data, Uber load board data. These are the subscription models that they also go by. Other than that, we can also have some profit coming into Opti EV Fleet, which could be advertising tools into the website itself. Basically, Tesla can propose their charging station. Also, America EV Chargers can promote any kind of system software that they want to promote in a website. Other than that, the expenses go into sustaining the software and also the programming, which will be the expenses. So basically, this is the Opti EV outline right now. So right now, the reinforced algorithm model is working and has been published through various conferences in IEEE, and it's actually working for all commercial businesses, and it's also a reinforced learning algorithm model. The reason why it's reinforced and it's not an intelligent AI or machine learning algorithm model is that this is a new data aspect. A lot of this data is not out there yet of commercial EV fleets or the data and how to operate them. So this is a reinforcement learning algorithm model. Right now, it has been surpassed into real-time simulation. If you don't know what real-time simulation is, this is a new kind of line tech for any kind of algorithm model that basically reinforces this model. Other than that, next step is to connect it to Solid Drive in order to have the website running fully functioning. The reason why we're doing a Solid Drive data server is that in order to ensure security, that there will be no cybersecurity threats happening if we include it to the cloud. So this is basically the overview of Opti EV Fleet. As I said, The market's huge, competition, there's a lack on it, and this is basically the future step of the transportation, and this is basically a great market for the fleet. So this is the team. This is the team that we have, and these are the founders that have propelled me to this programming model. I would like to acknowledge Prescott here. I'm a PhD student here at the University of El Paso. I have a mechanical and electrical engineering background and BSS and MS. Also, I would like to express my profound appreciation to the founders and supporters, basically Los Alamos National Laboratory, PNL, and Sandia for helping me with this real-time simulation model, and as well all the NNSA as I'm a fellow member under the DOE, researching and EV optimization for commercial fleets. And thank you. Do you know if you want more information for all these avenues and also my publications of this work, you can scan this QR code and it has everything through there through Google Scholar.
It's a great idea. I love it. And I love it. This is your PhD work?
Yes, this is my MS thesis work and transition to PhD. My PhD right now is actually using this model to optimize doing extreme weather events for hurricane and tornado scenarios in order to kind of propagate both the power grid, but also commercial business like trucks and semis that are in tornado seasons and they're EV and have to charge, how they can manage through those extreme weather events. So this is what I'm working with Los Alamos right now and PNL, trying to find a solution in order to optimize any kind of EVs into those scenarios as well.
Excellent. Thank you. And so the model that you have for your algorithm, you said it was not AI, rather, well, it sounds like to me like a neural or something that we are reinforcement model.
Yeah, so it's a reinforcement model. So the reason that we don't go to machine learning model is because this is a new area, commercial e-fleets. They've been barely testing in 2020. So when I was in Sandia working there for the EV modeling type, it was really hard for us to get data acquisition in order to train that data. So we approached it to reinforce, but also the reason why I went to reinforce model is that because a lot of commercial businesses, because I was a broker and dispatcher and EP freight zone, so I knew that a lot of businesses have different scheduling types for their vehicles. So this learning algorithm has to apply to their needs. So basically everybody has different needs, different time hours. So this is why I approached this direction as well.
Just, do you have questions? Do you have any traction on possible users or companies that you could partner with or would be interested in this?
Yes, so as I was in the dispatcher in the broker field 2 years ago, I do have contacts with Mesilla Valley Night Transportation, basically AF Trucking, which is our own transportation, as well as trucks. Also from many to small to big. Mesilla Valley is like number 3 in the nation. I have talked to them one-on-one that they're actually, all their researchers in Mesilla Valley Trucking, they're trying to find ways how to make that move to EVs, to hybrids vehicles or EVs, because there's a lot of, as I said, like legislative actions happening in California, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona, that they're trying to restrict emissions. So a lot of these trucking companies, they already have contacts and routes into those states, so they want to stay in those routes. So they've been trying to look for solutions in how to manage this, because it's very different to conventional vehicles, because as a diesel truck, you can go to the truck stop and it takes you like 5 to 10 minutes to fuel your tank right there. Then, and in this aspect, you're playing with time, exactly, and also how to manage that, because this is not a 15-minute play, this is like 30 minutes to an hour play in order to manage that. So for this algorithm model to be there, to give you a helping hand and also to oversee like all the state of charge batteries of the electric vehicles, they can kind of like manage it more feasibly and are not according to their own schedule. So I do have, actually have comments from these trucking companies that they're trying to find many ways because they're basically killing them. And also they're trying to move that route because, I don't know if you've seen this, but a lot of the diesel fuel costs have been increasing. So that's another thing that they want to go to the hybrid route because that's keeps on rising. And they just want to cut costs in that way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name's Flor. I had a quick question for you. I know that getting a hybrid truck is a big expense. Would it make sense for business owners to change to hybrid, and how far of a distance would they be able to go if they're over the road?
So Tesla has their own semi truck that they've been operating with PepsiCo and Lay's, and also with Walmart. Walmart also has partnered with Ford to have their electric vans. You've probably seen this here in El Paso already. And also PepsiCo have been running routes here to El Paso to California, testing like the battery, the ranges, and how can that work. Right now, the trucks from Tesla that they're selling to PepsiCo, they're actually in the same range as diesel trucks. For example, a Peterbilt 389 is tractor, basically costs around $190,000. The Tesla semi truck that's coming out with a 1 megawatt battery with the same mileage route, it's coming out with $180,000 for that same truck and the same specs. So it's not about if it's expensive or not, it's just a matter of that there's a transition between the two that you have to play with time. So the venture there for spending to a truck to making that transition, it's the same as much as they spend with the semi truck. It's just that the only issue, as I said before, is that change that they have to do, how to manage the fleet and how to go by that, because it is a big change from diesel to electrified or even hybrid. Hybrids is a combination of either diesel and battery, but you still have to charge in that aspect if it's a plug-in hybrid as well. So literally the prices between the trucks, that's not a big issue for them because it's in the same price range. It's just that the infrastructure that they need, how to set it up, and how to manage all those truck fleets is one of the biggest things that they have to do.
And how far would they be able to travel? Because I know a Tesla right now, if you were trying to get from El Paso to Houston, would have some issues, right? Because of the charging stations. So what kind of issues would they have over the road?
So right now, today, in 2020, there was issues of lack of charging infrastructure. Right now, 2023, 2024, they've been passing bills where there's tax incentives in order for any businesses that are implementing charging stations, so they reduce the cost of actually putting in the lines. I know that El Paso Electric, because I work with them, they have a new government tax incentive that passed that any business or any type of person that wants to put charging stations, they don't have to pay the cost for any line upgrades underground. So all you have to do is pay for the level charger itself. Other than that, right now you can look through YouTube or through the Tesla website that they have run test beds since 2020 that a semi truck from San Francisco going to Phoenix, that they only had to charge one time with a full 45,000-pound load, and it was able to charge one time and able to get to that route within like 2 days, which was actually amazing. And this was due to their technology with regenerative braking, this and that, and it still made it throughout. So the possibility is there. The infrastructure can handle it. As I'm a power system engineer, it can handle that. It's just that the play that you need to put the charging infrastructure in what way. And also, the reason why off-the-EV fleet is a real-time simulator is that because as much as you're managing the state of charge of the batteries and charging, it's always viable. What I mean by that is that even though you go to the supercharger with your Tesla, it says it would be 15 minutes to charge, but if you're doing peak hour demand of power, it can go up to 20 minutes. So it's always changing over time depending on the power grid. So that's why off-the-EV is also a real-time simulator. That's the reason why it's a reinforced learning algorithm, because it's always changing. And this is also changing for houses. I don't know if you've heard this, that they're doing smart metering. This is already being implemented. It's the same way, but this is for the business of the whole aspect.
Thank you so much. Let's now move to our next student founder, Mariana Casas, with Fuel and Go.
Every morning, I wake up at 6:50 a.m. to cross the border, which takes around 1 hour. I get to class at 9, only for me to go to my next class at 10:30. By noon, class is over, and I start feeling tickles in my stomach. I realize I'm getting a bit hungry. I think to myself, I have 2 more classes left, plus 3 hours of work, and an additional hour and a half worth of traffic to get back home to Juarez. I want something that's delicious and filling, but I also want something that will give me the energy I need to go about my long and busy day as a student. I analyze my options on campus and find that, unfortunately, the most accessible options are fast food chains like Chick-fil-A and Pizza Hut. I know this isn't only my experience, but the experience of thousands of other students and staff here at UTEP. Over the course of 1 month, I interviewed and surveyed over 50 students to hear their thoughts. Results don't lie. We have a problem, and there has yet to be a successful solution to it. Hi judges, my name is Mariana, I'm 21 years old, and this is Feel and Go. According to the NIH, it is internationally recognized that university students tend to have an unhealthy lifestyle due to various factors. And for us, who attend a prominently Hispanic institution, the figures look even worse. Diabetes is nearly twice as frequent in Hispanic adults than in white adults. And some of the lifestyles we as Hispanics have can lead us to have other serious medical conditions, such as heart disease and hypertension. These unhealthy habits may not only lead us to have poor academic performance, but it could also take a significant toll on our mental health as well. At Feel and Go, we understand the struggles of balancing academics, extracurriculars, and maintaining a healthy lifestyle, which is why we crafted a revolutionary platform that seamlessly integrates healthy meal options with a convenient drop-off system tailored specifically for the dynamic lives of college students and staff. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, this is just another meal prep service. Well, here's the catch. Feel and Go will have an innovative drop-off system that will allow users to earn points by delivering meals to their fellow peers. Feel and Go will try to solve two main problems. It will deliver healthy meals to students and staff who want healthy meals and can't have them, and it will also deliver directly to them no matter if they're inside our campus, something our competitors can't really do. Let me illustrate. I, Mariana, just ordered a delicious meal of chicken, roasted vegetables, and potato from the menu of the week at Feel and Go. I go into the Feel and Go app and realize that my friend Mike also just ordered a meal and is now ready for pickup. But Mike is in the library, studying intensely for his upcoming midterm exam. And I, as a good friend that I am, decide to pick up my and his order to drop it off. After successfully providing my friend with his meal, he gives me a rating and feedback on the app, and he confirms pickup. By simply dropping off his meal, I have earned 1 Feel point, which I know I can build up to 10 Feel points, which is the number of points I need in order to have access to 1 free meal. As a college student, who doesn't love a free meal? It's a win-win scenario that fosters a sense of community while incentivizing healthy eating habits. Also, to ensure the integrity of our business model, Feel and Go will require users to sign up with an official email school address. This will ensure that only verified students and staff are able to access our platform, creating a safe and reliable environment for all. In regards to our execution plan, the first bucket will look into the actual launch of Feel and Go. First, we'll select our one location as our pilot program. In this case, it'll be UTEP. Next, we'll source cooks and chefs from EPCC's Culinary Arts program, which will provide culinary students with exposure to the food industry and will provide them with practical work experience. Then, we will work on the development and launch of the Feel and Go app to the public. On the operational consideration side of things, we'll focus on 3 main aspects: meal preparation, meal packaging, and job coordination. Under marketing and promotion, we will work on developing marketing strategies such as the use of social media and partnership with student organizations to promote our business. Lastly, under expansion, we will seek additional funding to be able to replicate these processes in other campuses in the United States. What makes us think that this will be successful? Well, the health and wellness food market in the United States was valued at $124 billion last year, and it's only continuing to grow. Let's be real. In 2024, overpriced delivery apps that charge an absurd amount of money for fees that almost double your payment are out. This unique business model will allow us to reduce costs while increasing margins due to its unique delivery method. So, judges, audiences, what do you prefer? A plain chicken sandwich that will give you 0 nutrients and health benefits, or a healthy and affordable and delicious meal that will even make you excited to come into campus. Judges, let's make healthy eating accessible, rewarding, and downright delicious. Let's fuel and go. Thank you.
Hi, Mariana. I have one question, and as you're thinking about the, the business model, I think it's really, really innovative in terms of the delivery method.
Thank you.
Wondering how are you thinking about the potential insurance that you might need, or food handling, permits, etc., because of who's going to be delivering the meals?
Yeah, exactly. So that's something that in part of the execution plan, we're going to look on the operational side of things. So in the operational side of things, we want to make sure that the meal preparation, of course, has a quality it needs. And we also want to make sure that the whole process has high quality in order to produce high quality products for our clients. In regards to monetary value, I don't know if that was what you were referring to. We don't have an exact number yet, but that's something that we'll definitely look into in the operational considerations.
Well, I was meaning more like, for example, in this case, Uber drivers. They are covered in some way, shape, or form by insurance from the main corporation.
Okay.
How are you thinking about this, given that the folks who are going to be delivering the meals are students and they don't necessarily work for Fuel and Go? So wondering if you're taking that into consideration.
That's actually a really good question. You know what, I haven't thought of that yet, but I can definitely follow up with you after the presentation once I've thought of something. Thank you for that question, though.
Hey, great work.
Thank you.
I was thinking about, so if you're going to be outsourcing most of the cooking from, let's say, UPCC, culinary school, what's stopping you from doing the outsourcing from a place that's already doing the cooking? So you don't have to tell people what to cook and all those things. So for example, there's a bunch of places in El Paso that do healthy eating. Has that been a thought, outsourcing maybe from them and then give them a commission? Or?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I think that one of the main reasons why we considered EPCC students is because, well, mentioned in the presentation, I think it's a great opportunity to provide these culinary students with actual work experience. I mean, I don't know if there's a lot of opportunities for, cooking jobs here in El Paso, but I think that will be a good option for us. And also, I think that since it's locally and their students, we'll able to negotiate the salary, so that wouldn't be a main part of our costs.
Have you also given thought of what type of margins you'd be making on these deliveries? Because, as you know, the food industry has one of the lowest margins.
Of course. Yeah, great question. So I actually have a slide for that. Okay. So in regards to our financials, the cost per meal is approximately $2. The price per meal would be at approximately $8, so we would have a profit margin of around 75%.
When you look at the cost per meal, are you just doing ingredients? Is that what the cost per meal?
We're doing ingredients and the plate.
Just quickly, I don't know if I missed it, but where is the food prepared?
Yes. So the food prepared will be, I know in EPCC they have kitchens to do that, but aside from that, I was also thinking about probably having a centralized kitchen where people would go and actually make the food there. I'm just looking at different options and would love to hear your feedback as well as what you think might be the best option.
Actually, the Mexican embassy here has a program that you might benefit from, where
Okay.
they connect you with kitchen space that you
Okay.
can use.
Wow,
So,
I didn't know that.
for very discounted prices.
Perfect.
So that might be really good for what you're trying to do.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll look into that.
I like the concept, especially of eating healthier. My question to you is this, so people would pre-order for the whole week, right? So that you don't have a lot of waste, so you would only order the ingredients that you need, or, the poultry, whatever you're ordering at the beginning of the week, right? So there's not a lot of waste?
Exactly, yeah. And I think that's like also one of the biggest focus for Fuel and Go is to be able to make sure that we're not wasting any food. So that's why the food has to be pre-ordered so that we don't waste any food. Okay, thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to have our next student, Joel Garcia, with the Parking Buddy. Allow us a few minutes to.
That's the first line. All right, before anything, guys, I would like to take a seat. So I don't know if you guys are fond of concerts like me. Frankly, I love going to concerts. It's one of my favorite things to do. Personally, my favorite band is Fleetwood Mac. I love Fleetwood Mac, and I love to go see Stevie Nicks. I was gonna sit there. I love to go see Stevie Nicks whenever I get the chance. Oftentimes I go to music festivals and travel with my friends. But something, I was gonna sit there. But something that always kind of bothers me in a sense is that the parking situation is always such a problem. I was gonna sit there. I'll just do another workaround. So I thought, how about we change that up? Parking Buddy. Let's change the way we think about parking in the terms of special events. And so here's the problem we have. Finding parking is such an incredible hassle. Oftentimes you have to do numerous circle arounds. Sometimes you have to wait hours to just find a singular parking spot. And even then, that parking spot isn't in a safe location. Well, I don't know. Is it actually on the venue's parking lot? I don't know. And that's the uncertainty we hope to kind of eliminate through the invention of Parking Buddy. And so here we have the Hollywood Bowl, which is a venue in Los Angeles that has numerous problems with parking. And actually, as of recently, the Hollywood Bowl has closed half of their lots. So parking is a real serious issue when large artists come to the Hollywood Bowl. All right, and so here's our solution. We narrow it down to Parking Buddy being composed of three different aspects. Parking Buddy app, or just Parking Buddy online, in which people are able to reserve specific parking spots. So when you go to the Parking Buddy app, or when you buy your ticket, you'll be navigated to a place where you could buy a specific parking spot. You know exactly where you're gonna go, and you don't have to come 3 hours, 2 hours early. You can come whenever you want it, even a minute early, and you'll have that parking spot right then and there. Parking gates is how we're gonna do it. And this is a little diagram I drew, which would include a very low overhead. We were thinking, I'm so sorry. Inflatables, sorry. So an inflatable structure that visually blocks you from going in, but it's not gonna stop a car. A car can still run it over, but it's gonna block out a parking lot and show that everyone that parking spot is reserved for someone who has already purchased it through Parking Buddy. And Parking Buddy zones, where we can ensure 24-hour security throughout the event, is gonna be guaranteed so your car is safe and sound, so you don't have to worry about any sort of issues. And so here's just a little instance that I decided to put up. Person 1 doesn't use the Parking Buddy. Person 2 does use Parking Buddy. This person arrives 30 minutes late. This person arrives 1 minute early to their show. You paid for that ticket. You paid for those 30 minutes to see Drake, to see, in my case, Stevie Nicks. This person, they purchased Parking Buddy and they guaranteed that they've got all the money's worth out of their ticket. Person 1 cries. And so a little bit about the market. We're aiming ourselves towards a younger market, someone with a little bit of disposable income. More importantly, someone that's very well versed in going to concerts, going to shows, someone who wants to take all the hassle out of it because they know the pain. They understand that it can be such a hassle to find a parking space, and they just want to know exactly where they want to park, right? And so, on top of that, we're also going to market ourselves towards event organizers and venue owners, because on top of that, we need to convince these venue owners and event organizers that they need us, that they need Parking Buddy. And the way we're going to do that is by showing them that we can give them the efficiency that they need. And that's going to coincide with the industry. What the industry says is that Parking Buddy has a role in creating efficiency. And in this mature market, something that they often look for is to kind of lower down the volatility sometimes of the seasonality of the shows. Oftentimes they don't get a Taylor Swift every year, right? But they have overhead all throughout the year. So through Parking Buddy, they could kind of maximize on that parking space and take away some of that value that the parking garage that they don't own next to their venue get every single time a Taylor Swift comes, right? So a little bit about the business model. So how are we going to create value for them? Well, we're going to create a digital marketplace where we can charge for reservations, as well as we're also planning to bundle our services with other premium bundles, such as tickets, premium packages where you receive posters, signed material from the artists. So we're going to create a luxury sort of experience where you have no trouble, maximum efficiency, and complete customer satisfaction when you use Parking Buddy. All right, finances. So what will Parking Buddy do if we win the competition? That's a really important question. I know the app would be extremely useful, but most importantly, I think the development of the parking gate, a visual representation of what Parking Buddy is, a visual representation of you, the customer, that are reserving that spot, right? When I reserve that spot, I want other people to know that's not yours. That's not yours. And if I want it to sit there, I want to tell other people to know that I bought that spot and it's mine. And then when I show up, I'm going to have that spot, right? And so, just a little bit of numbers. For 5 parking gates, I estimate about $618. Yeah, and frankly, the app is something that's more of a future prospect. We know app development can be extremely expensive. And so the app is something that we don't really, isn't necessary for the startup cost. We just really want that physical representation of reservation for those Parking Buddy users. All right, feasibility. These are a lot of the issues and risks that we face as Parking Buddy. As you can see, adoption and market penetration. Why are people going to want us? Why are people going to use us? Though these are all questions that we intend to solve with rigorous market research and calculated decision making. Ultimately, our high level concept is going to be a Google Maps for parking. So we're not just going to stop with the concert and venue industry. If anything, we're going to continue to take over all of parking. We're just going to carve out our niche within the concert and special event parking, and then from there, we're going to take over all of parking. Create a world where tech-driven cities can use Parking Buddy to calculate live information about parking, even reserve parking spaces for all over the city, right? So that's our highest level concept. That's what we aim to do ultimately. A little bit about the execution. So year 1, getting started, expanding. Something that we definitely want to know in our execution is that we will be targeting specific venues that fit our market. Specifically venues within tech-driven cities with tech, I'm so sorry. With tech initiatives, right? With tech initiatives like LA, right? I mentioned the Hollywood Bowl. Bad parking, tech initiatives, they want this technology. In fact, they need this technology. And so that's going to be an important part of our phase, finding these venues, and not only that, but developing a sales team and building up Parking Buddy from the ground up to ensure that we can sell these lots and convince venues that they need Parking Buddy. All right. That's all I have for the presentation. If you would like to ask any questions, that would be wonderful.
I just have a quick comment, and I love that part where you said, like, Google Maps for parking. Start with that. That's really good. That's advice that I got as well. You know, like it's something that somebody's already familiarized with.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I like that.
Well, thank you so much.
I like that. So that make that bigger.
Well, you've been paying attention to that.
Yes.
Now, so actually, this is fun. Could you go back a little bit to the a little bit further back? There we go.
Oh, yes.
There we go. So if you could tell us a little bit more about how you're thinking about the business model. I mean, right now, have you gone out to any venues, folks that you've spoken to that they might be interested in, and how they're thinking about, giving you some of this physical space to test it out?
Yeah, so I haven't actually talked with any specific venues, any specific areas as of yet. That's something that's part of what I'm planning to do after this point. But I understand that venues have something about convincing these venues is really convincing them that they need this. Something that we learned, especially from the industry, is that these venues are highly volatile. They get their most money on one day of the year. And so they try any sort of ways to find any other way of finding money, right? And so through our pricing model of doing demand-based pricing, we're hoping to add another channel, another level of profit to them that they wouldn't even have realized it existed. And so that's going to be a big way, a big selling point from Parking Buddy's perspective of why they should work with us and partner with us in that aspect.
Part of the research or some of the data that I think would be helpful for you as you're putting this together is figuring out how full are the venues when an event starts, and maybe how much money they might be missing out on concessions or some other revenue sources just because people are getting there late, and hopefully that can help you with those types of conversations, right? How can they capture that value back?
Yeah, thank you so much.
So let me see if I understand this correctly. Let's say you have the Coliseum. Let's use El Paso as an example. And a lot of times when you go to an event, they charge you for parking. Parking's not free, so you pay for the parking, and then if somebody wants to have their space reserved, they would pay you also. Then would you have an agreement with that parking lot owner to say, okay, I'm going to pay you a percentage of the people that are going to reserve it?
Yes, and thank you so much for bringing that up. Something that I mentioned is that we hope to really bring a level of expertise in salesmanship and marketing. We want to bring together a team that can guarantee that they can sell that lot. And if that, for example, a garage, we could work with the owner and say, hey, how about this? You can sell this lot by yourself for whatever cost you want, take all the profit you want, but if you have Parking Buddy on your side, we can guarantee with a certain percentage that we will sell out your lot tonight. And so you would probably get more than if you just let it sit there by itself and get whatever money it got. So that's what we hope to build from the ground up through Parking Buddy.
So by doing this, you would also have to have employees in the other cities because they would be putting up that inflatable, right?
Yes, ma'am. So we were thinking of putting together a team that would target specific events, such as the Taylor Swifts, the Rihannas, when parking is considerably an issue. And we would bring those teams there, travel, set up the lots, leave just a few employees to maintain, surveillance, maintenance, any sort of that, and just let the technology do itself. That's hopefully the end goal for Parking Buddy in this initial phase.
Awesome. So I'll start with a few comments and then a question. I think you started pretty good, like breaking the ice at the beginning, so congrats with that. And then one of the things that when I see parking situations, I think it falls along with also when you're selling parking with overselling. So you took oversells to parking because at a given day, not everyone's going to show up. Same thing with flights. That's why they overbook because on a given day, a certain amount of people are not going to show up. Data shows that. So they're always willing to do that to make the most profit they can. My question would be, how are you addressing some of those things when someone reserves but doesn't show up? And then apart from that, what type of companies have tried to solve this, and why haven't they been able to? Because I think parking has been an issue ever since parking lots were invented. So this has been happening over and over. How come they haven't solved it yet? What do you think you have that they couldn't see?
All right, thank you for bringing that up. So yes, these are some of the other companies. I'll talk about that right now. But just for the time being, Parking Buddy zones. So we do have Parking Buddy zones, constant surveillance. If a person, we can develop a system where if a person does not show up within a specific amount of time, again, these are reserved spots. And I'm thinking that we would reach out to this person, verify whether or not they're still planning to show up. If they give us a straight up no, then we could easily set up advertisements within those Parking Buddy zones to tell other people, hey, we have a spot we want to sell up right now. And if they're passing by still looking for a spot, then we can tell them, hey, there's a spot right here in the wayfront, we'll sell it to you right now because that person isn't coming. So I think throughout Parking Buddy zones, we can use that as an advertising base to kind of actively in person tell them, so we're not overly reliant on the technology and again, people just not showing up. And in terms of competitors, we do have Parking Whiz, which is the one that Ticketmaster actually uses. Parking Whiz, Spot Hero, and Parking Mobile are all just apps that they really just sell up just the lots, but they don't sell the specific spaces. And again, bringing up that idea of overselling lots, they often do that. And also, I would like to mention Park and Park Stash, which are two companies that refer to themselves as the Airbnb of parking, utilizing other spaces. And so that's also another area I think we'd be interested in kind of taking over once we get a larger market share. And the way that Parkways I think we could do better than Parkways because we would not only provide just the service to bring parking to those people, the people buying those tickets, but I think we would definitely have the area of expertise. And that's something I would like to expand on as well, if given the potential with Parking Buddy, where we can even, not just the parking, but even handle the way cars move throughout traffic, guiding them, closing off lots, really providing that expertise, that efficiency that we know that this industry needs right now.
All right, so now we're moving to our next student founder, Jocelyn Molina with Project Period. Just so you know, Jocelyn actually flew in this morning just for this presentation, and she's going to fly back to Washington. She's doing some internship. So kudos to our students. They're trying to, do extracurricular activities and get their studies where they're doing this. So, Jocelyn, we're ready for you. Here's the
Thank you. Just by the show of hands, have you ever had a period emergency where you were fumbling to find, all of a sudden got your period and you were fumbling to find some products? Could you raise your hand if you've been in that situation? I know I definitely have. And here we have Project Period, an initiative that was actually born here in the university. I was part of the Government Association. I passed it as a bill, and now I'm looking for it to be a nonprofit. So let's get into it. Allow me to present myself. My name is Jocelyn Rachel Molina. I am a senior studying economics, and I'm currently a professional intern. I just flew in my student loan jet lag, but right here, really excited to be with you guys. So Project Period aims to solve period poverty, right? So we have 16.9 million women that are experiencing period poverty in the United States. Another problem that we're facing is 54% women have reported that have been confused or either unprepared for their first period. And our third problem that we're aiming to solve is 500 women lacking access to hygiene facilities in order to take care of, to properly take care of their period needs. So this is how we're addressing period poverty. So for our first problem, we're trying to give access to free menstrual products in public restrooms, in schools, and also in shelters. These are places that very much need in high demand of those products. And we're aiming to have those as our target markets. For our second solution, we want to provide education. So I believe that having 50% of women feeling unprepared or unready to face their first period, or not just as their first period, but experiencing their menstrual cycle. We're aiming to provide educational sources. This could look in a pamphlet, this could be a QR code, but just kind of trying to spread the word about more menstrual health initiatives. Also, for our third solution, we would aim to administer hygienic kits. So these could include disinfecting wipes, both tampons and pads. We've also discussed about having menstrual discs and other sustainable options. And now this is what the project has looked like in the university and what it would look like if it was implemented to a larger scale in the city. So if you go to a restroom, actually if you go to a second restroom in this building, in the second floor, you should be able to find a flyer and a basket with the products. This is more likely what it would look like. I feel very confident in this project because it's been running for about 2 years. It has inspired the students to be generous, to be able to sustain the project as well. So I feel very confident. This is a very good view of what it would look like, what it would very tangible. Moving on. So now entering the market. We would be entering the market at 276.72 billion as our total available market. Then we have our 9.1 billion serviceable available market and 91.3 billion available market. If we were entering this space, And this was calculated with our CAGR of 4.53% and entering the space in at 3.3%. Moving on. So these are the steps of how we would get started. So if I get funded today, tomorrow I can go ahead and follow these steps to ensure that this project is on the move. So on our first steps, we have hiring a registered agent. This would help us file all the legal work. This would also help us, filing the tax exempt forms, and then we would move on into ordering the products. Because this project already exists, I'm very experienced in knowing where we can find the best products for the lowest prices and how much we would be able to read. I was also very blessed to be working with the city, and we were able to pass a similar bill that would aim to have the government-owned buildings have these products. So we would collaborate with them as well. And I have a pretty good estimate to how many products we need, how many would be the cost, and finally moving into the third step and seeing what the project would look like in the future and growing in partnerships and growing with communities. Right now we have a total estimate of $3,160 to start this project, but I assured you that I believe in this initiative. It's worked for 2 years. It inspires students to be generous with us. There's been times where restocking has been difficult and students have put their own products in the baskets, and therefore I'm convinced that it is sustainable, that it will work, and it has continued to work. I've also developed a team of advisors that are experts in their areas that would help this project move on. So like, for example, we have Catherine Bahina, as our grant advisor. She has experience in the government. She works in the commission office with me and has experience writing grants and looking for them, and especially in the city of El Paso. So that would be a really good way of ensuring that this project is sustainable. We also have attorney Daisy Chaparro as a legal advisor. I think she would be a great addition to the team into advising us on how to follow through with the legal paperwork. We also have Philip Venegas, my mentor. He would be the financial advisor that has been able to make the numbers, the math, as I would say. We also have Kathy Shanabriaga as the outreach partnership. She's done an amazing job in her nonprofits and could help us build those partnerships that could allow us to have more chances of having grants and applying for them. Because entering the nonprofit space, we are reliant on government grants, and therefore we would have a greater chance of having more funding if we were able to partnership. And she would be a great addition to kind of ensure and consolidate those partnerships. So these would be our supporting entities. Like I said, this project started here at the university. I would love to expand it into city surrounding communities. Student Government Association allowed me to make this project at the university level, and now I'm looking to make it into a nonprofit. The city of El Paso, I worked with them to make sure that the products were available in the city government-owned buildings. There would be also the place where we would locate the products, to hold them, and they're really good partnerships, not only to have the products be located for them, but also helping us distribute them as the bill passed. And we passed it in March of last year. And the House of Representatives, here we have with Congresswoman Veronica Escobar. She was able to hear about the initiative and was also willing to be on the team. And with that being said, thank you for investing in El Paso.
Congrats on all the progress, specifically because in the early stages, a lot of people usually wait until they have funding to get going, but it looks like you were able to kickstart it, and now, as you say, 2 years. So congrats on all that. What made you want to make a nonprofit specifically, and then walk me through, for example, on how you decide the locations you want to put this in, if you were to expand outside the current places you already have.
Great question. So I decided to go to the nonprofit because I wanted to address fear poverty in El Paso. And I wanted women to be able to have that dignified experience of having access to products. In terms of, I'm sorry, could you repeat your other question? Sorry.
Yeah, and then what are the next places you want to put those resources in?
Yes. So like I said, I was able to work with the city to have them in government-owned entities, but now I'm looking to expand into schools. So because the project already existed in the university, I was able to expand it, the project itself to other universities, but now I would look for middle schools and high schools to also implement it. So those would be really good location spots. And also with shelters. Actually fun fact, Minister products are one of the lowest donations that they receive, so they're constantly a need for them. So they would also be a really good location and a good resource for individuals to be able to have access to them.
Congrats on what you're doing, and
Thank you.
this, I've seen that there are other organizations and subsidies that have applied this. So I guess that's a controversial question. A couple things there is, have you thought of collaborating with maybe some of these other organizations or cities? Have you reached out to them? And second is, you can tell us about, you've already been doing this for 2 years. You could give us like some statistics as to how that's gone. How the use, how many products, and some of the feedback that you received.
Yes, of course. I'd be more than happy to. So yes, I believe there are other organizations. One of them is Flow, and the other one is Project Period, the original Project Period. With Flow, we did try to collaborate when it was at the university level, not like a nonprofit. But for their products, they were a little bit more expensive to get, so therefore we didn't end up going with a partnership. And then when it comes to the original Project Period, I have tried to reach out to them through the city. So we have discussed potential collaborations. And in terms of statistics, so like I said, if we go back to my slide, this slide. Okay, so the restaurants here, so like I said, we went to the second floor, you're able to see it implemented here, which is really exciting. If you see the QR code, if you scan it, it was able to provide me with feedback from students and also allow me to know where restock was needed. So I didn't bring those numbers with me, but I received a lot of feedback in terms of like the students really needing this initiative. Like I said, there would be times where we were kind of running a little bit behind on restocking, and students put their own products in. So therefore, I'm very confident that they would be able to, donate to this initiative, and not only monetarily, but also like within their own products, and kind of restart it that way. But yeah. And in terms of products and how I got those numbers, so we can go back to this number. Okay, right here. So last administration, I asked student government for $2,000, and that was able to give me 7,000 products. That was for a whole semester worth. But like I said, because I worked with the city and it was implemented at city level, they were able to provide me the numbers for me to have those numbers today to see how it would be extended to the city. Any other questions?
I had a quick question,
Yes.
but I don't know if I heard why you decided to go nonprofit route.
Yes, okay. I just do nonprofit because I wanted to give women that experience of a dignified period experience, to be able to have product accessibility. This would be more of a community project, and just wanted to extend that help for them.
And maybe, so right now you're raising funds to buy the products, maybe also including an initiative that is like a take one kind, like that?
Yes.
So that, it's a pain point kind of, especially with students, it's so expensive to be a student and not have a job. And so some people might be more able to, so kind of maybe adding that to your initiative, yeah.
Yes, thank you so much for your feedback. And if you see the basket right over here, we have the flyer, we have a QR code, and then in the basket we have kind of like a red heart, and that one is take one, leave one if you can. So that's already implemented, but thank you so much for your feedback. Yes.
Hi, I have a couple of quick questions. First of all, kudos to you. I think that's an excellent idea.
Thank you.
If you have the products in one area, how are you going to have volunteers to take it to different parts of the city, UTEP? How do you have them refill it?
Yes, so at the university level, we definitely have volunteers, which is mostly Student Government Association members. For the city, there are hired individuals that have to keep track of restocking. So for my initiative, It would be mostly volunteer work, and that's another reason why I decided to go nonprofit. It would just facilitate the process of getting the products restocked.
And how do you control it? If it's open like that in a box and just put it in there, how are you going to control it that somebody doesn't take 5 to take home or, for the rest of the week? How do you control it so that they don't take too many?
Yes, so for one, the locations that I've discussed earlier are very strategic to be able to reach the target market that I'm looking for. So people who need them have access to them. But when it comes to preventing people taking more products than they need, like I said, because I've experienced this project here at the university level, I understand that the people who take them, from my research of the market, people who end up taking a bunch is because they genuinely need them and ration it throughout their menstrual cycle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we are making some adjustments to our agenda. So right now, we'll go to our break and we'll come back in 10 more minutes, okay? Feel free to take some refreshments, stretch your legs, and we'll be back here in 10 minutes. Thank you. All right, thank you for making your way back in. We are going to get started. I hope that was a good break. Got a good, some water, coffee, snacks. I hope you are all very excited, as we are, for our second section of student pitches. Right now, we're going to start with Maximiliano with Health Tag.
Health Tag, protecting your health daily. Did you know that over 8,000 synthetic and toxic chemicals are used in the fabric manufacturing process, mainly in clothing? Certain chemicals, which are absorbed through our skin, are azo-dyes, heavy metals, and phthalates. These harmful substances will affect everyone's health and wellness, but especially children, due to their ongoing development. Health Tag is here to address this unaware issue by introducing a rapid test kit which will help parents discover the toxicity level in several products of their children. The device works by placing the fabric on its top for a few seconds, then within 15 minutes you will get the results back, and depending on the amount of toxic chemicals it contains, it will show you 3 different types of results: red, orange, or green. This product is portable, efficient, and the first and only consumer product in the market, as fabric toxicity testing relies only in toxicology labs, resulting in a less convenient and more expensive testing process. The cost of toxicity testing in a toxicology lab ranges between $80 to $250 per fabric, but with Health Tag, the price will only be $9.99. Our initial market is huge. The global rapid diagnostic test kit market will be valued at $35.9 billion by 2029, with a 4.5% compound annual growth rate. Our user market potential is 2 billion children worldwide. Now, according to the United States Census Bureau, our available market and main target should be 16.5 million children in the US. This graph shows the upward trends and positive market increase in the health and wellness industry. The cost of unit is around $3 and the final price will be $9.99. Our initial market will be focused on parents of newborns and children under the age of 5 years old, and our marketing channels will be pharmacies and retail stores. This graph shows the initial 5-year sales forecast. This graph shows the initial 5-year sales forecast based on consumer market strategy, focusing exclusively on a one-time purchase of the $9.99 5-stripe test kit. The first year, with a 1% market penetration projection, sales are forecasted to be $1.6 million. And on the 5th year, with a 30% market penetration projection, sales are forecasted to reach up to $50 million only in the US market. This device can positively impact the health of millions. According to the World Health Organization, more than 2 million lives were lost in 2019 due to exposures to toxic chemicals, which many of them are found in very famous fabrics. Recently, this project won the National Blackstone Launchpad Idea Competition. So, if we win this competition, we will use all the money to test and develop a prototype. Okay. And my name is Maximiliano Borrell. I'm in filmmaking major. I'm the marketing administrator, the CMO of the company. He's Arad Fraga, the CEO and the founder of the company. And we believe that with creativity, with innovation, and with business, we can change anything. Health too, sorry. Thank you. Are there some questions?
Yeah. So have you been doing prototyping for determining, for example, the $9.99 cost? That goes a lot with the R&D. So have you done your math to determine what type of margins you could get by selling the item at that unit price?
Okay, so you're on this slide, right? On the market penetration?
Or just the cost of the individual testing kit that you were talking about? Like, how did you arrive at that price?
Oh, actually, we're still making some research on that. We're like reaching for some support of the chemistry and engineering departments from the university, so we're still doing some research about the price of the real product, right?
And can each price be used, can each device be used multiple times, or is this single
Yeah,
use?
it has 5 stripes, so it's like for 5 different kind of
Pieces of
clothes.
clothing?
Yeah.
Hello? It was a very good presentation. Thank you so much. I had a quick question for you. How serious is it a problem, the clothing for kids? I had 2 kids and I never had an issue, buying clothing for them. So how serious is the issue where somebody would want to buy this?
Actually, the most dangerous parts with this issue are like in Saudi Arabia, in very low budget countries, like with very low income. So on these places, where the clothes are made, the hygienic conditions of the fabrics are not the right ones. So when all the clothes are brought to the US, there are like a lot of hygienic process on the shipping from I don't know, Afghanistan, from Pakistan, where the clothes are made to here. So they're like hygienic process. Yeah. So maybe there are not a lot of cases here in the US, but in the other part of the world there are.
So what your intention is to hopefully create the product, make it, and then market it outside the United States
Exactly.
where there is a serious problem? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going first with the US, then to the whole world. Yeah.
Hi, I also have a question. Do you know, so I have a toxicology background, that was my PhD in environmental toxicology, and it is a huge issue to have phthalates. Phthalates are these chemicals that they put in plastics to make them softer, so you can make polyesters, make different colors. And those do, they have found these phthalates in everybody's blood. And so it's leading to a lot of hormone disruptions and diseases like that. So now we've got diabetes, we've got PCOS, all sorts of endocrine disruptions because they mimic hormones. So it is like a huge problem. And you showed the picture of a little child with a rash. My daughter got the same thing when she was about 18 months old. I used Tide Pods, and she looked exactly like that from the chemicals in the detergent. And so I really like the idea. Do you know which chemicals you'll be targeting, or did you have a business plan and then you go start science later?
The main ones are those azo dyes, heavy metals, and phthalates. Yeah, those are the most harmful chemicals that are on several clothes.
And you showed a picture, right? So you showed the next slide. It looks chromatography strip, so it's gonna, find the chemistry, find the chemist. And then, but manufacturing of those things, you can get, if I can buy a pregnancy test at Dollar Tree, then, they should be very easy to manufacture, the cost should be quite low. So it's really finding the chemistry, which is my suggestion. But overall, great, I agree with the premise.
Thank you.
I do have another one. So for example, let's say I find out this piece of clothing that I'm wearing is toxic. My thinking is, within the user's journey, like I already bought it and I can't return it probably, or some of the clothes, let's say my whole closet, 80% is toxic. So I think this makes more sense probably trying before you test, like testing it before you purchase any clothing, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But then as you're going throughout the store, how many strips do you need? Or let's say, how would that journey go determining what type of clothing?
Just to buy it,
Yeah,
like
just buy the right one.
to see. Actually, one of our ideas, but we didn't put it in the presentation, is to, in some point, sell the device to the apparel manufacturers like H&M, like Zara, any other brand. So when you buy the clothes, when you already have the bag, they can test the clothes right there with you. So that's the point. When you are buying it, not with on the entire store,
Okay. Yeah, have it in the back.
Yeah.
I have a quick question on that. So, if it's a pregnancy test, right? You would pee in it. If it's a COVID test, you get the sample. How would you get the sample to put in there to see if it's toxic or not?
You have to put the fabric of the cloth on the stripe. It's just like a paper stripe. It's gonna be a very small device, so it has like 5 stripes inside. So the stripe, you just have to put it like a few seconds on the cloth, and in 15 minutes it will show the color red, orange, or red. It will convert to that color from white to red, orange, or green. Yeah, by just touching it. Yeah, it's a lot of chemistry right now, but yeah, we're figuring it out. Yeah. Any other questions? No. Well, thank you so much.
All right, so now let's move on to our next pitch with Eric Villa with TechWise.
Let's go back in time for a moment to the year 2020, when we were all affected by the COVID pandemic, and we were stuck with social isolation, and we relied heavily on technology. Imagine if you couldn't use technology at all for a second. Just envision it. You couldn't socialize with loved ones, use social media apps, you couldn't use entertainment apps, do online grocerying, do online banking because you didn't feel comfortable. Most importantly, you didn't know where to go for help. There was no one to help you. Simple tasks like this became daunting. And if you're especially not tech savvy, this could be a big problem. As technology advances rapidly, our main concern is that we may not even be able to keep up with it. This is where TechWise comes in. My startup is dedicated to bridging the gap between elderly and the technology, ensuring they can confidently navigate the digital world. Through 24/7 audio, visual, tech support, education, and training, our goal is to empower seniors to be able to use technology. If you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, but if you teach a man a fish, he'll eat for life. My name is Eric V. I'm a 24-year-old undergrad student studying software engineering. During high school, I worked for various local marketing agencies, and I worked for free to go ahead and build my experience. After high school, I was accepted into UTEP, but then I quickly dropped out because I was unsure where I wanted to go in life. However, I did launch a successful marketing business, and it was successful until the pandemic affected my business. Then I was forced to focus on sales and roles in customer service. But now I've returned laser focused to focus on software engineering and combine my real world skills with a higher education. The problem is clear now. The elderly face a big technological gap with limited exposure and the complexity of devices getting more and more intricate. 28% of individuals over the age of 65 and 40% of individuals 50 to 64 feel confident using technology, compared to people below the age of 50, like me, are 74% confident using technology. There's a lack of tailored resources and little to no guidance that doesn't meet their needs, leads to low confidence, and ultimately social isolation, unfortunately. Additionally, 62% of seniors aged 50 to 64 and 73% of those aged 65 plus acknowledge actually needing help with technology as well. Growing up, I observed my parents and grandparents struggling with technology, and I was often their go-to tech support. I think we all have someone in our family we go to when we need help with tech problems. Working customer service as well for consumer cellular, I saw firsthand the challenges the elderly face. They were frustrated with their devices and not happy with the support services provided to them. This inspired me to provide solutions to them to bridge the significant gap faced by seniors. Our solutions include virtual tech support with personalized assistance through video calls, hands-on tech education with one-on-one customized in-person training sessions, and at-home personalized tech education, bringing the expertise to their doorstep. Our startup receives strong market size as well, from the fact that more than 60% of individuals aged 65 and older regularly use smartphones, highlighting the demand for tailored solutions. The high market validation is further supported by our market size analysis. The total addressable market is $74.9 billion. Our serviceable obtainable market is estimated at $31.8 billion, and our attainable market is around $4.65 billion. These figures indicate a strong need for opportunities and growth and expansion within the senior industry. Our business model offers versatile solutions as well, catering to customers' needs. Users can offer our subscription model. Providing support via video for a fixed rate. Alternatively, our pay-per-use model will allow them for in-person training at our office with the comfort of their own home. Additionally, strategic partnerships with healthcare providers, tech companies, and senior living facilities will go ahead and expand our reach for tailored programs. If I were to receive your investment, judges, I would have 3 priorities that I already am focused on. First would be research and development, utilizing college resources, explore customer feedback, and identify market opportunities. Second, I would utilize the college network of staff and professors and alumni to go ahead and help with mentorship and any barriers I may encounter. Utilizing campus resources as well, I would drive product development, launch the website, app, and go ahead and focus on any necessary infrastructure as far as legalities and LLC products. I would also utilize the research labs for market research and any pilot projects. In conclusion, TechWise is dedicated to providing seniors with 24/7 audiovisual tech support, education, and training. Supported by market validation, strong market size, and a big demand. If we want to see change in the world, we have to be that change. One of my biggest inspirations is Steve Jobs, and his quote is, "People who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." Thank you.
Great work. One question I have is, what is the overarching goal for these people that you're teaching? How do you know when they've reached the point where, is it to become self-sufficient, to get work, to know that they know how to look up, things on YouTube, or how do you know when these people have reached the level that you want them to get to?
So ultimately, it's tailoring to the customer needs, because I actually went to go survey elderly people myself at the mall, and doing research as well, I found what the competition was offering. And most of the time, they were just teaching the basics of how to use a computer, or some of them were not even teaching how to use a phone. If you wanted to use your phone, you would have to call the cell phone provider that you have, and they wouldn't even offer that as a service. So ultimately, to answer your question, is to teach them what they want to learn, So it would be doing research beforehand, and then going ahead and having the meeting, or having it in person, or having the video call. So ultimately, it's just catering to the customer needs on the phone or computer, but only those two are the major markets.
Hey, great work. Wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the how you came up with the market size. You know, and it goes along the same lines as Max's question. As for example, I have a grandfather that refuses to use his cell phone. Like he's like, yeah, if you want to ever call me or find me, just I have a landline. And for example, in my mother's case, she wants to get better work and she wants to learn about Excel. So if you could tell us a little bit about the target market and how you size that and what are the needs that you've identified from that feedback.
Yes, to answer your question, let me go ahead and go back to the market size. So this is actually based on a report from that IBIS World. This is during the research period. And then also, they provided this graph in IBIS World as well. This is the industry broken down by age. And as far as getting these numbers, this is actually based on 2024, and this is actually based on 2023. And this research is also from IBIS World as well. But to answer your second question, you said it was about Excel, or?
No, if you could tell me a little bit about the types of services, the feedback that you received, for example, from your interviews. Like, what are most of these folks looking for? Is it to get reskilled in the workforce, or because they want to better connect with their families? Like, what are the major needs?
It was ultimately to be able to use their devices better. They didn't feel comfortable using their devices, and most importantly, they didn't know where to go for help, especially if they didn't have family or friends or anyone to call. Most of them were isolated. So just catering to their custom needs, it was a case-by-case basis. Like for example, the reason why I wanted to offer the gig economy, which is like experts offering their advice, is so people could open the app, and then for example, like one person I surveyed, their needs were they wanted cameras installed in their house. So there's actually no one you can call have cameras installed in your house. And surprisingly, he's like, I've been looking for it forever. So having experts like that can also offer their needs would be like a main priority as well. So like, people could pick the expert they wanted to help them.
Yeah, that was a little bit kind of my question too, like where the half song came from. But and so that would be, that's one that you clarified that for me, the having the gig economy, so having kind of like a collective, people you could call or access to ask different things. That was kind of my question too, is like what am I thinking of it right? Is it like you say it's like a geek squad for people who don't know how to use like certain software or features on their devices?
Yes, but specifically to answer your question, I don't want to sound too repetitive by saying catering to the custom needs, but a lot of the people I interviewed, they had problems with using apps on their phone, and they either had problems with using applications on their computer as well. And for any problem they had, I asked them like, how have you tried to seek help? They're like, I don't really know how to use Google. I don't trust Google because of scams and software and stuff like that. That like I've been hacked, I've been scammed. So they also call the people as well, like the businesses, and they try to get customer feedback, or customer help as well. But they're like, oh, we have resources already online. Like go to our website. So people don't want to spend the time to take the time to help them, and that's mostly what it is. Just taking the time, like with the one-on-one sessions, and that's why beforehand, like if someone wanted to come in, for example. The idea would be like, we would have a list of their specific problems, like, oh, I want to learn how to use Facebook, I want to learn how to use Netflix. So we would go beforehand and learn how to do that, or make sure we know how to do that before we could help them. So it would basically be on specific tasks to help them beforehand.
That's a really good idea, and I think that's something that could help is partnering with companies like Netflix or, where so what they want is customer service.
Yeah.
And if they're not offering, go on our website, we'll tell you there. So what if you're the customer service and the people who pay you for your services are those big companies who don't want to do customer service? So that's just another suggestion for.
Yeah, and I don't remember exactly, oh, here it is. One of our main focuses will be strategic partnerships, because doing competition research as well, there's only one main competitor, partner with AARP, which is Senior Tech. And again, they only focus on the basics of the computer, like how do I turn it on, and how do I open a Word document, or stuff like that. But specific apps, it seems like no one is offering it at all. So the main focus, like one of our competitive edges would be strategic partnerships. And I also did mention it as well. But one of our competitive advantages as well would be utilizing AI, which no one at all is teaching them really how to use. Especially even people my age are barely learning how to use AI.
I love your idea. I think it's great with technology advancing. It's easy to get outdated, so I love it. Have you figured out how to price it? You know, especially if somebody just calls you for one certain thing, how you're going to price it? Is it per hour or for what they want to learn?
Yes, to answer your question, going back to the business model, I think our biggest offer would be the video customer service, which will also be the biggest hurdle, just acknowledging like that's going to be the biggest challenge. The easiest one is the offer in-person training. And as far as the pricing model, to answer your question, we would try to base it around maybe $20, $25, or depending on the market research, that's what it would be geared towards. But as far as also paying for it, my idea long-term would be for the strategic partnerships like our insurance, so be able to offer them like, hey, we can offer you this, or even like Netflix or Verizon could be like, if you have any problems, like for example, if they purchase a new phone, it could be like, hey, we have these people who can teach you how to do this. If you have any questions, you can go to them and they can help you.
Excellent. And as far as staff, I know that a lot of businesses, even myself, had gotten staff from out of the country because it's a lot less expensive to help the profit line. Have you thought about doing that in your business?
Yes, and going back to my experience, I worked for customer service for Bank of America as a manager and also consumer cellular. I was just a regular staff member. I would talk to the elderly people on the phone, and they would always appreciate, it's funny because they would actually mention, they would say, thank you for being able to speak English clearly and understand my problem. And they would appreciate that we were able to actually help them solve their problem. So a lot of the other companies besides Bank of America use outside sources. So I have to consider that. Is there any other questions? Thank you guys. And I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Eric. We're doing a little bit of changes in our agenda, so we're going to have Siadani going next, and we have a new group, a new team participating at the very end. Unfortunately, we had 2 students withdrawing this morning. We know, things happen, things change, so we're able to bring in more students to have the opportunity to pitch. So right now, we're going to move forward with Siadani with Vida Nova.
Hi everyone, my name is Siadani Calderon. I'm currently studying metallurgical and materials engineering with a concentration in forensic of materials here at UTEP. My project is Vita Nova. Vita Nova is a waste management company that operates by collecting centers for El Paso community in order to be effective in recycling and give more opportunity for this waste to be replaced or reduced. Some of the problems are that us as community, we often just we replace our waste, or we replace the things that we need, but we don't get the responsibility for our waste materials, and we forget that the planet we live in has no replacement. Some of the main problems for recycling is the lack of education about recycling processes and how to effectively um, contribute to recycling as individuals. El Paso Recycling Programs is costing taxpayers $8 million a year. Why? Because El Paso collection centers only recycles paper, cardboard, aluminum, tin, and some plastics, not all of the plastics we throw there. So, as this lack of recycling processes in our city, 25 of the tons that these blue bins collect, 8 tons of those collected material go to the landfills. And the purpose of this program was to minimize the amount of waste to the landfills, but isn't effective because us as contributors, we don't know how to recycle. We think we do well, but we truly don't know how to recycle, and we're affecting the city. We're paying this affection. So some of these waste materials that are collected of the blue bins are electric resources, some plastics, tires, glass. Glass isn't recycled. So all these on collected materials and in the landfills, giving more problem to the city to get rid of this waste material. A lot of negative impacts happen when you utilize these resources. We provoke destruction. We provoke degradation of the nature. We also have health problems about the waste management, and we create a lot of pollution. Some of the solutions that Vida Nova is proposing are the following. Waste management techniques are a good option, and there are plenty of ways to recycle things. But us as Vida Nova, we will create some collection centers for El Paso community in order for effective recycling. Also, we will create an app for our consumers for them to give them points for the waste they give to these collection centers. If they come with a pound or so, we'll give them points for the amount they're giving, and they will be able to exchange it on local business discounts and even opportunities in this business. Also, we will do digital marketing campaigns because, as I mentioned already, we don't know how to recycle, and we don't give the importance about the recycling processes. Also, as well, we will do education programs education programs for people interested in recycling in order to do them properly. We want to educate people in how to recycle properly. Also, we will mention the great innovations about the recycling materials. Nowadays there's a lot of ways that recycling products are innovated. Last month, I enquested 150 people here in El Paso, and 90% of them agree with the Vida Nova vision. They were worried about the waste management in our city, and they want to participate in Vida Nova project. Also, I discovered that local businesses have a lack of recycling. They have this huge bin where they throw all the stuff in, and they didn't know they could help the planet and help us as a community to optimize recycling. Waste management has a $63.3 billion marketing value in the current year, meaning that the compound annual growth rate of this business is 4.7% a year. The business model for Vida Nova is selling the products that we collect, then helping local businesses to participate in recycling, and finally, partnerships with, give partnership with recycling companies, non-profit organizations, also companies here in El Paso, and even the city of El Paso. We have a great judge here, Infinite Materials. I get inspired in your work, and by partnership is the way we could give a real solution to this problem. Also, if I win, this will be the 4 things I'll invest. I'll do customer optimization research, also the app development about the one I've been telling you that gives compensations to customers, education material like videos, campaigns, in order to educate El Paso people. Also, obviously, and more important, the business registration. And that's it for my presentation.
This is my area of expertise.
Yeah.
This is great. I love to see it. I just had a question. It's like, what would you do with the stuff you collect? Because you said, oh, we'll have collection centers.
Yeah, we expect that people come to these collection centers, and with the collecting material, we take it to the organizations or companies that do something with these materials, and give them the facility to amplify their operations. Yeah, because it's the hard part, the collection.
It is.
Yeah.
There's even government grant money out there to get people to recycle more.
Yeah.
Especially electronics are hard to recycle things. There's also, are you familiar with the company TerraCycle?
No, I just heard of it, but I haven't looked into it too.
That's why I asked, what are you gonna do with the collected materials? Because their premise is that companies will pay them like Capri Sun, right, those little
Yeah.
pouches that you can't really recycle. They're like, oh yeah, we can recycle them if you send them to TerraCycle. So Capri Sun pays TerraCycle. They ship out boxes, you put all your Capri Suns. Very difficult to recycle plastics in there and ship it back to TerraCycle, and TerraCycle makes new products out of those plastics, like park benches, toys, little plastic things. So it's just like an idea on how do you want to be the platform to distribute waste streams to where to vendors?
Yes, that's the main goal for this Villanova waste management company.
Excellent. Keep us in mind for the e-waste.
Yes.
That's another thing is like companies like ours, we have a technology to recover metals, but we're not the
Collectors.
The collector, right? The collector of these kind of materials. So that's a great fit for us.
Yeah.
Keep in touch.
Yeah.
Congrats on what you're doing, and actually, that's one of the verticals that I feel that there's potential there, but the other one is on the education side, on the ed tech side, especially because I've seen it so many, because I've seen so many things happen with El Paso recycling, like people stop recycling because
they
don't know how to, and then you start to throw things in the recycling bin, and you get charged by the city because you're not doing it correctly. So, like, how can you work with them to be able to develop good incentives there? I mean, I feel that that's where you might have also another interesting part.
Yeah, they did. So I have a connection in the city. She's the deputy city manager, and she oversees the environmental services. I'm not sure if you're acquainted, but they also ran this Black Belt Recycling Challenge.
Okay.
And it was a big deal because they were getting like 32% contamination rates of their recycling, and then it can't be recycled.
Yeah.
And so with that program, they decreased their contamination rate by almost 10%, which is a big deal. So people were really participating. It was really good. But again, why is it El Paso having to do that, right? So your company, not only can you model something like that and then take it to other waste management areas, so many synergies. Like I said, there's a market for that.
Thank you so much.
I think it's an excellent idea. One of the questions that I have is it going to be for-profit or non-for-profit organization?
It will be like a company, for profit.
For-profit? Okay, terrific. So I used to have an insurance agency, and we threw away so much cardboard because we ordered through Amazon, through Sam's, through everything. Are you going to be offering, because we were looking into it, there was nothing like a bin or something that you could take to businesses that are interested so they could throw their recycles? Okay, perfect.
Because a lot of businesses have this huge bin, but don't have the recycle one.
Right.
So we will offer them the paper recycling, the cardboard recycling, or even the aluminum, that things that are already in the office, they have to throw in the general bin because they don't have an option for recycling. So that's the main goal.
So in order to be for-profit, right, because you're a business, are you going to be, did you already figure out that you're going to be charging like rent for the bins, for the business owners? And how are you going to be making your money? By selling the recycled products to?
Yes, we will be selling the recycled products, but we'll also be charging a fee for the transportation issue. And it's a real, like, we want to make the recycling process effective. And we have to work as a community to make it effective. And by participating at fairs with small business, we could expand. And that's the main goal. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I love seeing the synergies and the connections here. So Dani and Jessica, definitely a great connection in there. And isn't it exciting that she got inspired because of seeing you? This is where we need role models. This is where we need you to, keep creating, keep innovating, because you're creating an impact in our students. And we don't see it, but this is one of a great example. So thank you so much for all the work that you as the judges are also doing, because the impact, you can see it here. All right. Okay, so now we have our final group, Diego Valencia and Uciel Rodriguez, presenting Sports Link. By the way, they were just on a call this morning, and we asked them if we could jump in, so they are here from, within a very short notice. So be kind to them, and I'm sure they are ready. So take it.
Okay, hello everyone, thank you for having us. My name is Uciel Rodriguez.
I'm Diego Valencia.
And this is Sport Links. We are a multi-purpose platform for coaches across different sports, locally and eventually internationally.
So this is our problem. No bullet points necessary. It's extremely ugly to look at. It's a tedious task that takes anywhere from 20 to 30 hours for coaches. It is a periodization plan.
And this is actually a periodization plan that we got from a coach. And the thing with this is that they have to go in and manually make changes, they have to adjust things, and this is not giving them any kind of feedback. They are not able to collect any metrics off of that. So this is why we came up with this solution. So we plan to simplify the process of making these periodization plans, making a standardized form with their input, and we also plan to leverage existing AI tools to take all that information, all that input that they're giving us, and make suggestions to them, so on how to improve their trainings and performance.
And with those AI tools, we'll be using collaborative features for both the coaches and the students to have a better understanding of the strategic processes for the season, as well as free up the coaches' time. As I mentioned, it takes anywhere from 20 to 30 hours that they could be spending with these players and have a better understanding of what these players need and want.
So this is the market opportunity. We estimate that there are about 50,000 coaches here in the US alone. And we got these numbers from a CRM called Apollo. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but our sum is 500,000 team sports coaches that use daily periodization plans, and we have a SAM of 1.75 million of coaches that know about the periodization plan and use it in some sort of way. And then we also have a total addressable market of 5 million sports team coaches.
And here is our competition. We have both Coach RX as well as Athlete Analyzer. So they're both manual periodization plan builders, which is again very tedious. This is not automated. We will be implementing AI into our prioritization plan builder. And as for Coach RX, it is on desktop and in-app. As for Athlete Analyzer, it is only on desktop. For Coach RX, it is used for all sports. As for Athlete Analyzer, it is specifically used for mixed martial arts.
Like Diego mentioned, these things only provide the templates, so the coaches have to go in and manually update the information, and it's not going to give them any feedback on the inputs they give. So and also these two are different from each other, and many coaches don't have experience building this type of plans, so there's a need for a standardized one, and that's why we're here. We want to provide a standard for the industry. So this is our product, or the concept of our product. We want to leverage the existing AI tools to make a dashboard, a platform that's going to contain a dashboard, and it's going to use all the inputs that the coach gives us, like player profiles, goals, training goals, objectives, and then we're going to feed that information to our AI model so that it can compare what were the goals and what are the results at the end of the day for the trainings, and then give recommendation to the coaches so that they can have individual player development plans generated automatically so that they can go one-on-one with their players and say, these are your strengths, these are your weaknesses, and this is how we're going to improve.
And here's our pricing and revenue model. As you can see, we only have one basic model featuring the features we mentioned before. We will be charging seasonally $500 annually. This is only used for specifics. Right here we have per sports team, so per athletic, this is football, per soccer, per volleyball. There's a lot of athletic teams across the country instead of per university.
And these are our advisors. We have Colin and Ivan from Locomotive, and we also have kids from the local UTEP women's soccer coach. And one thing they all have in common is that they validated our idea. So they validated the need for a standardized prioritization plan, and they also expressed that they would like to pay, they would be willing to pay for something like this because it's really a pain point and a friction in the market.
That is actually our last slide.
So thank you so much for your attention.
Great job. And really good group of advisors, I think I'll do this as well. And this on. Oh. All right, well, I'm just speaking louder. Well, what's one feature that you will have in your software that isn't available currently, that you're using AI-enabled services that these other services don't have? You can say that one feature is going to make difference from yours.
Well, like I think I mentioned it, but it's going to be the fact that AI is going to be fed with this information that the coaches input, and then it's going to make individual. So there's two things. The prioritization plan is like the overall plan, but coaches look at that plan and the results they get from trainings to actually make individual plans, like for each own player. So AI is going to automate all of that so that coaches don't have to spend 20 to 30 hours doing this manually.
I like that. That's a fan of love. I like that you went out and found these advisors to validate your approach. Thank you. Did you have the idea first and then find those advisors, or did you see a problem? Tell us how you came up with your business idea.
Yeah, so we did have the idea first. We had multiple ideas. We came down to 3. Eventually kind of went in front of these people and asked them, what specifically do you think is most important, what is valuable, and what is necessary to your operation? And they kind of validated this idea the most, and eventually we would like to implement those other 2 ideas in the future, but they did implement and validate both of our ideas.
Excellent. And are you business majors?
Yeah, I started supply chain and I was in development.
Management and marketing.
Excellent. I gotta say, I'm really impressed by the UTEP department. You guys are amazing. I gotta say, really, I'm really impressed. I wish I could up with a business person. I was a scientist, so this is perfect. That's all my comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, this is great, guys, and especially everything related to sports tech. It's definitely a growing industry, and I'm willing to take kudos. No questions for me. Well, actually, if you could go back to pricing.
Just real quick, can
Yeah.
I just say that this would be great for like neighborhood or small leagues. Like, right, so my kids are in soccer, baseball, like that. And so these are not professional coaches. They got day jobs. You can't, it'd be much more effective coaching if you had this kind of help that
And if I may add to your comment, like I was mentioning, many coaches don't know how to do this because it requires a lot of knowledge. Sometimes they have to hire like a strength conditioning coach or just outsource it to some professional because this is really hard. Like you saw the picture, it's really detailed, it's really hard to make. So many coaches miss out on this opportunity to have one periodization plan so that they can have a goal, like have a direction and their team could improve. So that's why we want to be able to have this service available to everybody, across all levels, amateur, semi-professional, and even pro at some point.
And I was going a little bit in my comment or question, wanted to go more towards that, because I think you have opportunity to exactly come up with multiple types of tiers, especially from high school, because I know with Friday Night Lights, to university and even college, and even professional. I mean, because a lot of teams they focus heavily on sports analytics and working with their medical departments, etc. So I think there's an opportunity there, and right now I'm working with a company that is focused on working with about 200 of the universities and their basketball and football programs. So happy to connect you with those guys to talk about that.
That would be great. And if I may add something else, another thing we're planning to do, it's more like a revenue channel. So all of the data we're going to collect in these periodization plans, we can sell it to third parties, like other software providers that are focused on injury prevention. We can say, oh, these warm-ups increase the chances of completing the goals of this day, or these warm-ups led to this injury. We can sell that information to them as what they need.
I just have a couple of questions. So this is going to be an app where the coach goes in and puts the information and then he's going to get a printout, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be a platform where they can go and input their, so like I said, player profiles, goals, objectives, and then the AI is going to be fed with those things and then make the plan for them.
So other than that, other than creating the app, are you going to have any other overhead? Are you going to have like customer service in case they have a question on some of the results that came out?
You mean like customer service?
Yeah, like somebody that can answer the questions if they have, if let's say there's some suggestions and they had questions on it, are you going to have a customer service support?
Sure.
We can see why not. As of right now, we haven't thought about that, but we could definitely implement that in the future.
I like it. I think it's an excellent idea, especially because a lot of coaches are good at doing their one thing, but if this could open their mind and help them to get better players, why not? That's excellent. I like it.
Yeah, I like the age-driven initiatives of, you say, seeing what types of activities lead to injuries is super important, especially prevention is bigger than treatment. So.
Any other questions? Thank you.
All right, so now that was our final team. So now we're gonna leave the judges, give them a few 10 minutes to get together, gather the feedback, talk to each other, and come up with a final winners, first, second, and third place. Thank you to all of our students that dedicated the time, not just today, but for the past month. So a big round of applause for all of our students for showing up. Okay, so while we wait for our judges to give us their scores, everyone is welcome to go outside and have a drink, network with each other, and we'll be back in about 15 minutes for final deliberation. All right, so please, our judges, if you can come to the front of the stage to help us with the hand of the checks. So today we have a first, second, third place, and an honorable mention. All right. Okay, so as I call the winners, I'm going to ask the students to come up to stage. We're going to hand you a check, and then we're going to do a picture with the judges. Yes? Okay, we ready? All right, we are ready. This is so exciting. We're going to start with the honorable mention, and the judges agree there was a student that had a wonderful opportunity, and they would like to honor Eric Villa with TechWise. Yeah, come here at the stage so we can take a picture in the middle. Thank you so much. You're good. Yes. All right, now, with the third place, we have Mariana Casas. You can take it to the bank. Okay, now, second place, we have Diego Valencia and Luciel Rodriguez. Oh my goodness, this is lucky for you guys. We're good to go.
There you go.
This is definitely their lucky day. You'll never know where you're gonna get, right? So just be prepared, especially when you are an entrepreneur. This is one of the things very last minute that can change the outcome. So thank you so much, Diego and Luciel and the judges. So now our first place, can I get a drum rolls? It goes to Antonio Arila. Ready for your big check? Yay!
Oh, in the middle.
Okay, thank you so much. You can now take your seats. And I'm just going to give a few closing remarks because I think this was very inspiring as we draw the curtains on this exhilarating journey of innovation and entrepreneurship. I am thrilled and I am filled with immense pride and gratitude today. Thank you so much to all of you for being here today. You have judges and mentors and attendees, including your staff on this side. You're a great example of what we can do together when we put our minds to do it. I appreciate everyone's time. It's Friday, So I know it might be a difficult time for everyone. To our community members, thank you for being here. Our students, thank you so much for being innovative, creative, and don't stop creating. The Mike Boyle Center is here to support you in every way we can. Thank you all so much for being here. This is the end of our pitch competition, and have a great rest of your day.